And we're back. Got done talking some Raider v. Kingsbury messy situation that has unfolded. Also, congratulations to the Commanders for locking up a tremendous offensive coordinator. Gonna stay in the NFL, gonna stay in the NFC. Gonna talk about some Saints football today. The New Orleans Saints. This story comes from multiple outlets. So we got Yahoo Sports, we've got NOLA.com, SportsIllustrated.com, and also the Saints Wire. So we'll go through everything, cap space, we'll go through free agency, we'll go through the mess that the New Orleans Saints, that they're operating in. And yeah, it's something else. But we got a firing out there. And it's time to get into the firing. All right, Doug Marrone is fired. He was the O-line coach in the Saints organization. He's out. Now, this comes from Yahoo Sports. The longtime NFL coach, Doug Marrone, will be looking for work after he was fired by the Saints. Marrone was fired on Saturday after 2 years as the Saints offensive line coach, according to multiple reports. The Saints are expected to hire 49ers passing game coordinator Clint Kubiak as the next offensive coordinator, and he will likely bring some of his own assistants along as he attempts to reshape the Saints offense. Congratulations to Mr. Kubiak for getting hired. Congratulations to him. Marrone was the Bills head coach in 2013 and 2014, and the Jaguars head coach from 2017 to 2020. He's also been the head coach at Syracuse as a long-tenured assistant coach, including 2 different stints with the Saints. The perpetual cap-strapped Saints have missed the playoffs 3 straight years, and head coach Dennis Allen is hoping a new offensive scheme can get more out of quarterback Derek Carr, whose $30 million guaranteed salary means the Saints are married to him for 2024. What? What? You gave Derek Carr $30 million guaranteed. Stop it. Who gave that man that kind of money? Come on. The Saints have salary cap issues. Now, this comes from Luke Johnson at NOLA.com. When an NFL contracts, there is a simple formula that always good to keep in mind. Cash does not equal salary cap. And again, this is the conversations that you won't hear on ESPN, Fox Sports, or anywhere else, because we dig deeper. And we, like I say, we want to go ahead and have those elevated conversations. So just because you got cash, that doesn't mean that it equals the salary cap. See, cash is the real money a player receives. And that, for the most part, is set when the ink on the contract is dry. So when you hear somebody making 800 something million, but they only got a $10 million signing bonus, 10 million is the cash that's on hand. And so, yeah, we had 10 million. We gave you 10 million. But yeah, I got a $400 million contract. You may not live to see that contract. You may outlive that contract because it'll have options on it, and it'll allow the team time and space to get out from up under it. So you got to keep that in mind. Oh my goodness. Salary cap is the accounting mechanism for that cash. As New Orleans Saints fans should be well aware, it can be manipulated. As the new league year approaches in March 13th, so like I said, next month, that's when all hell breaks loose. And the NFL went from being just coverage in the summertime. The NFL is a year-round business now. I mean, this is the dead period right here, but there's so much news going on right now. I mean, come March the 13th, the floodgates are going to open, and this thing is going to look drastically different. There'll be a whole lot of firing signs going up. The Saints are once again in a position where they need to clear tens of millions of dollars from their books to be compliant with the league-mandated salary cap. Now, as of him writing this, the New Orleans Saints are between $82 million and $84 million over the cap. Damn, $84 million over budget. And they didn't make the playoffs. Holy moly. But we'll get right into that when we come back from a quick 20-second break from another unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern at App Stupid. Yes, KFC, 11 herbs and spices. Try the $20 fill-up box or the $9 big box. Visit your good folks at your local KFC, download the app, order online. KFC, finger looking good. All right, so back to the New Orleans Saints. Now, first, the team has remained committed to keep the core of its roster, leading it to make aggressive maneuvers to retain many of the good players as possible, while financial wiggle room to add to the roster, not avoid the roster. Jesus, I wish I could avoid that roster. Secondly, the Saints are still feeling the ripple effect of the COVID crisis, which caused a substantial loss in league revenue and therefore a huge and unanticipated drop in salary cap. The most basic way to put it is that the Saints consistently have borrowed from their future to pay for today. It is a gambit that is in part based on a reasonable expectation that the salary cap, which is a percentage of league revenue, was going to increase on an annual basis. So that's how you get what the salary cap is going to be, because it's a projection of what the NFL is going to make. And if any of us regular people, if we were borrowing from money that we will make in the future to pay for right now, that is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for disaster if I ever heard of it. What fuzzy math is that? The Saints cleared more than $100 million in cap space in consecutive seasons of 2021 and 2022. So this is not a new puzzle to them, but it's not a new puzzle for them. But with each passing year of aggressive management, the puzzle solutions is getting more challenging. General Manager Mickey Loomis alluded to this at the end of the year conference. The Saints are going to restructure a lot of contracts in the next month and a half. The basic contract restructure is the simplest and most common tool when it comes to managing the salary cap. The cash value remains the same, but it is converted from base salary to signing bonus. So when you have a situation now where you're over the cap, you have to kind of restructure these deals. And so you take the money that's promised to you over a certain period. When the deal's restructured, that money turns and they convert that into a signing bonus to free up money in the cap space, because they're taking from your future and making it readily available right now. That shit sounds like a Ponzi scheme. I'm sorry. That sounds like a Ponzi scheme if I ever heard of one. Anyway, allowing the club to portion the cap hit out over a length of the contract. The longer the contract, the more short-term relief becomes available. So when you restructure and they're going to extend these out for a long period of time, they're going to convert that over into a signing bonus. But also what that does, that takes away from some of the cap issues that you may have to go after people. And then you have free agents on the roster. Now, there are 4 types of free agents. This is covered through Sports Illustrated on John Hendricks. So you've got the street free agent, the exclusive rights free agent, the restricted free agents, and unrestricted free agents. And I'll explain to you what those are when we come back from another quick 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Vernon at App Stupid. Yes, Subway, eat fresh, refresh. Try any other sandwiches in the Subway signature series. Visit your folks at your local Subway. Download the app or order online. Subway, eat fresh, refresh. Okay, so we're talking about the free agency and how it breaks down. So you have those street free agents, and certainly not as common as others, but this is a player who either got released by their team or wasn't under contract during the previous season. They don't have to wait until the beginning of the new league year. Now, the new league year starts on March the 13th of this year. Yeah, I think that's either March 13th or March 15th. It starts in March of this year. That's the league year. They don't have to wait to sign that contract, and that won't factor into any compensatory formula. So these are the guys that they would look to add to the team because it doesn't add to any kind of salary implications to them. So they would still have free operating space within the cap. Exclusive rights and free agents, those are players under contract and has not reached 3 years of experience. If the team makes said player an offer at the 3-year veteran minimum active salary application to that player, then they have to take it or leave it in the option. Now, the Saints have 2 guys like that. Defensive lineman PJ Mustipher and Rashid Shaheed, the wide receiver. Restricted free agents, player has only 3 years of experience and would not have a contract with his current team. Saints have 2 of those guys, which is Lynn Bowden, wide receiver, and fullback Aiden Prentice. Unrestricted free agent, player is free to sign with any team. He would have had a contract with his current team. You would need to play 4 years to get cut to be in this category. They have 3 guys with voided years. Quarterback Jameis Winston, wide receiver Michael Thomas, offensive lineman Andrus Peat. Those 3 guys are in their 30s, but then you go down roster. They have a lot of unrestricted free agents. Jimmy Graham is an unrestricted free agent. He's 38 years old. Wow. Jimmy Graham is 38 years old. Lonnie Johnson, defensive back, he's 29. Isaac Yurdam, the cornerback. Zach Braun, the linebacker. Max Garcia, offensive guard. Ty Summers, the linebacker. I mean, they've got so many of these guys. They can move them around, or these guys are free to go wherever they want to go. Now, this year in the NFL draft, the Saints, they only have 5 picks. And that story comes from the Saints Wire. Saints are already traded 3 of their initial 7 picks in 2024's draft to facilitate the move with other teams. But more challenges are on the way. The Saints are projected to receive at least 3 compensatory draft picks in 2024 after losing high-profile free agents in 2023. Defensive tackle David Onyemata and defensive end Marcus Davenport, as well as linebacker Caden Ellis. Depending on how things shake out with the camp picks, they could get another 6th-rounder, but that doesn't appear very likely. We won't find that out until March. My goodness. They sent a 3rd-round pick in 2024 to the Denver Broncos so they could get a 2nd-round back while trading former head coach Sean Payton. Wow, I didn't know you could trade coaches. I guess you can trade coaches. They traded Payton to Denver. And at that time, he was already an analyst. I'll have to dig into that. Wow. They traded Payton to Denver Broncos so they can get a 3rd-round pick. Then they spent 2024 4th-round pick to upgrade one of their 7th-rounders in 2023 to a 4th-rounder, targeting Fresno State's quarterback, Jake Hunter. Depending on where the Saints slot into next year's draft order, they could essentially get that pick back as a compensatory selection for Davenport or Onyemata. Not a bad move. Not a bad move at all. But the knowledge that those exact picks are coming down the pipeline helped the Saints justify their decision to spend a little more recklessly. I don't think the Saints need to spend any more reckless by the way we broke down signing bonus versus cap space and how you borrow against your future to pay for it today. And when that doesn't work, you restructure these guys' contracts. You spread the years out to spread the pain out. But then you also turn money that was guaranteed in the future and promised into a smaller signing bonus. And then hopefully you move on from paying them this huge contract. Nah, you spent recklessly already. We'll get into more of that when we come back from a quick 20-second break from another unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern at Apt Stupid. Yes, White Castles. Try Crave Case. Original sliders, sliders with cheese, double sliders, chicken rings, onion rings. White Castles. Get your White Castle on. All right. So we looked at the Saints, the free agencies they have, the depletion of draft picks. They're over the cap. They have to move players around to get under the cap. Is this a season worth watching next year? I don't know. You have San Francisco's coordinator that's coming in. He's going to be the new OC. He's going to try and give the New Orleans Saints a new look. He's going to put lipstick on a pig. They owe Derek Carr. They owe this kid $30 million. You're not going to move that dude. He's got $30 million guaranteed. He ain't taking no pay cut. He's not restructuring nothing. That dude's going to get every bit of the money coming to him. And so, Saints fans, where do you sit? Will you be watching this year? Doug Marrone is fired. You got new people coming in the midst. And we'll just see how it works. As always, this is Big Vern at App Stupid. We'll be back.